political manipulation, does it at least sound like a logical disconnect? Senator Clinton turns her campaign into a declaration that Senator Obama is not ready to be president. Then Senator Clinton suggests she might choose Senator Obama as her vice president, even though 2 of the last 8 vice presidents and 4 of the last 16 have had to unexpectedly and suddenly succeed to the presidency. And then Senator Clinton's advisors say, well, no, Obama's not ready now, but he might be. And one of them suggests that the date that he might be would fall just after, say, Senator Clinton had been nominated for president. Our 4th story in the countdown, no, I'm not kidding. Over the weekend, both Clintons repeated and amplified the campaign's suggestions that you don't need to support him because you might get to vote for both of them if he's the vice president. Today, Obama addressed the 2 things missing in this offer, reminding thousands of supporters that first, there might be something backward in it, seeing as he and not she has won more states, more votes, and more delegates. And second, he addressed the fact that the authenticity of Senator Clinton's offer might be undercut by her own previous words.
Now, they have been spending the last 2-3 weeks. You remember with that advertisement with a phone call, getting all the generals to say, well, we're not sure he's ready. I'm ready on day 1. He may not be ready yet. But I don't understand. If I'm not ready, how is it that you think I should be such a great vice president? Do you understand that?
Clinton spokesman Howard Wolfson today tried to reconcile Clinton's conflicting positions, saying Obama is not ready yet, but he might be ready by August, refusing to answer what might transpire in the next 4 months to make him ready. Maybe the Learning Annex is a really good president class this spring, or he'll stay on a Holiday Inn Express during the convention. Actually, Obama kind of closed the door on this again in Mississippi today, repeating what he first said Friday in Wyoming, not absolute on the subject, but close.
I want everybody to be absolutely clear. I'm not running for vice president. I'm running for president of the United States of America.
And one other note here, the Clinton camp offering no comment on the news that the girl shown in stock footage in Clinton's 3 a.m. ad is now actually old enough to be voting this year, and, says Casey Knowles, she would prefer to see Obama as commander-in-chief. It's not just that she's voting for him, she was a precinct captain for him. On that note, let's turn to Dana Novak, national reporter for The Washington Post and an MSNBC political analyst. Dana, thanks for your time tonight.
I'm ready for you, Keith.
This may be the dumbest thing we've seen yet in this campaign. He's not qualified to be president, but he might be my vice president. He's not ready to be the vice president right now, but he might yet become so before the election. Did anybody in the Clinton campaign say that whole sentence aloud before they launched this, or did the senator only know the first part of it and Howard Wolfson only know the second part, or what?
Well, I think it's perfectly reasonable, Keith. You've got to think of the whole commander-in-chief test as sort of a driving test. Obama has passed the written part of the exam, but having some trouble with the K-turns and the parallel parking. Unfortunately for him, the only inspector, however, is Hillary Clinton, so she's the only one who can decide when he's ready. This argument was tried before. I don't know if you remember, Orrin Hatch said it to George W. Bush during the 2000 campaign. We see that worked quite well for President Hatch.
There's also one part of this, though, I don't even think the Clinton campaign has yet recognized. If Howard Wolfson is saying, well, you know, hey, maybe he will cross the national security threshold in time to be nominated for vice president in Denver in August, or elected in November, or inaugurated in January as vice president, is it not also inescapable that Howard Wolfson is also saying, without realizing it, you know, Obama will cross the threshold in time to be nominated for president in Denver in August and to be elected president in November and inaugurated president next January?
Yes, I'm sure it has occurred to them. And as Susan Rice, an advisor to Obama, has said, nobody essentially is going to be ready for that 3 a.m. phone call. There's nothing you can do to prepare for it. But that doesn't mean what Hillary Clinton's doing is dumb. Essentially, it's keeping the debate where she wants it to be. She doesn't want it to be on that delegate math that you just went through with Chuck Todd, which doesn't look terribly good for her. She wants to keep it in this big picture where she thinks she can have an advantage. She's having some success. Obama is responding to her.
Why did Obama then say anything about not running for VP? Why did he say I'm not doing it when if you just sort of let this continue for a period of time, certainly that logical disconnect has to come into it. I mean, I'm not qualified to be president, but I'm qualified to be president in the event of a crisis when you suddenly aren't. That's got to ring with. Why did he do anything to tamp this down? Let her go further on with this. Why was that a mistake politically?
I think it is. I mean, he should be exploiting the contradiction as opposed to sort of defensively suggesting that, in fact, I am ready. But the very nature of what he's been doing, rolling out these former secretaries of the military branches, I was at that press conference in Washington today, it has a defensive ring to it. He needs to be out there going back on the offense and taking it to her, not answering her charges, but delivering new charges of his own. That's the only way he's going to get away from this.
And as we watch him live in Jackson, Mississippi, is there anything in what Wolfson suggests or anything from what Hillary Clinton said that gives us any idea of what the commander-in-chief threshold looks like? I mean, you suggested the driving test. Is it like a lifeguard exam or something?
Yes, he can get a certification. The card will be signed by Hillary Clinton and presented to him on day 4 of the Democratic Convention. He's not going to pass the test because Hillary's the only judge.
He could pass the test, but he wouldn't pass the test till after the election. But then that brings us back to the point that if he can pass it, never mind. Dana Milbank of the Washington Post and MSNBC, and we can now resume the use of logic. Thank you, Dana.
Thanks, Keith.